Good afternoon, Netrunner fans. I'm Keith.
I'm Justin.
And this is Stampede City Grid. This is Game 3 of the Winter Kits.
Yep, it's Game 1 of Round 4.
Game 1 of Round 4 of the Winter Kit.
Yep, it was February 6, 2016 at the Century Box. Great big gaming store. Both great and big.
In Calgary, Alberta.
Yep. And we have James on the left here playing Harmony Medtech, which is the Medtech ID where each player only needs 6 agenda points to win, with a smaller deck size as well.
And then Conrad on the right is playing Chaos Theory. Chaos Theory has additional memory.
Yep, and also a smaller deck size.
And also a smaller deck size, yes.
So we're going to see if this ends up being a quick and dirty game here.
And they're already getting going. We have a subliminal messaging.
Yep, then a hedge fund. So moneying up. And I believe both players decided to keep their hands. Okay, so it's like, does he have ice in candy cup? And yep, so it's basically a traditional ice baby turn with a subliminal kind of as the cherry on top. And let's see, Conrad starts with a sure gamble.
Subliminal messaging is really good when Jinteki, when most of their ice has a lot of teeth, and you don't want to face check them early on without, at least some defenses set up or cards in hand.
Yeah, but that does not deter Conrad, and he goes barreling into R&D, and just a pup.
Yep.
Just yip.
Yep.
Just throws him some side
treats.
And
there's an agenda.
And is well rewarded. Gets a GFI right off the top. So right away, it's 2-0 in Conrad's favor. Mm-hmm. And I do find though, compared to most other shapers, is that Chaos Theory's builds tend to, and then he runs R&D again and just sees another pup, I believe that was. But yeah, Chaos Theory builds, because they're smaller deck sides and because she has the extra memory to start, tend to be more aggressive.
Yep.
You see a lot of like the classic kind of Stim Hack personal workshop builds that just get the rig set up in no
less
time.
Hardware and more about getting those programs and breakers out, and then making an aggressive stance on the corporation.
Yeah, Magnum Opus is a very common feature in a lot of Chaos Theory decks as well. So tend to be big money, big breakers, just everything a little girl hacker could ask for.
Big money and big prizes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have another ice on R&D.
Yep,
and,
I think that first run kind of traumatized James.
Oh yeah. Those shapers in general, you just want to have at least some defenses set up for R&D just to deter them from getting in and getting a Maker's Eye run.
For sure.
Or an indexing run. Oh, it's just another pup.
Another pup, but that's pretty taxing. I mean, Conrad's going to have to pay 4 if he wants to get in there, just for single access at this point.
Looks like a Mushin Notion.
That does look like a Mushin. And I think the other thing is, too, James only has 1 card in hand, so clearly either bluffing that's not an agenda, or it's just some random card, so not really caring about HQ too much at this point.
No, he is making the run.
Ooh, and hits into a quicksand.
Ooh.
So that'll end the run, and gets a counter there to up its strength by 1.
3 cost, 1 strength, or 0 strength barrier that increases its strength every time you encounter it.
Yep. So Conrad has yet to build his board state at all, but he discards an Atman, interestingly. So what does that mean?
There may be some clone shipping or retrieval runs happening.
Yeah.
To bring it back into play.
It's interesting. Yeah, you
Stim
would assume
Hack clone ship run.
Yeah, I'm assuming when I see that, I assume that he has is that a cloak that's on there?
Cannot see right now.
So he draws into a Maker's Eye.
Also looks like a Maker's Eye. So yeah.
So if he money's up, he could Maker's Eye here. He needs 6 to get through R&D at this point. I think I also saw Plascrete, which probably won't be much of a factor in this game. So interestingly,
just credits up.
Yeah, I think that was a cloak. He might be running stealth here. We'll see. Could be wrong. James on his turn just sort of drew a couple times and took some money. So definitely getting his hand back up. And yeah, so I'm interested to see because Conrad discards the Atman. And obviously he doesn't have the money to play it, but he hasn't been building his board state at all at this point, just making some early runs, being very aggressive. And that's kind of, some of the downsides to being very aggressive early is that, you can get rewarded like he was in that first run in R&D, but, once kind of the steam runs out and things start transitioning to mid-game, once the Corp has getting their defenses up, you realize you could literally have nothing out like Conrad.
It's easy to not have a response for that. And we got another piece of ice there. James is definitely going to make him pay for not having his board set up already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, at this point, if you're Conrad, that's a big signal that you should start transitioning to mid game, start building your board state, because James, on the same token, has not been threatening a remote whatsoever. So no fear of scoring out, no real pressure there. So I think if you're Conrad, you just want to money up and start getting breakers out, getting your hardware, etc., and just really start sticking to your game plan. All right. So.
Yeah. And we have a dirty laundry run on archives.
Yep. All right. Getting his money. So there you go. There's the first part.
Moneying up.
And then we'll see if he wants to risk that Maker's Eye, knowing how aggressive he's being, or if he'll actually start to play some stuff down. Nope. Just runs.
Regular run.
Oh no. And this is exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, mama, no.
Oh, no, yes. This is kind of worst case scenario.
Chaos Theory has an additional memory, so that's 5 net damage.
Yeah, so
much. Good thing he didn't do the Maker's Eye run.
Yeah, if he had Maker's Eye, there would have been a flat line.
Yep.
So, wow, just devastating. Just zaps him. And this.
Do you continue, knowing that there could be shocks or snares?
Yeah. Oh, and he's going for it. Conrad. High stakes.
Yep.
Conrad is the honey badger of our meta.
Doesn't really care.
just blazing right through R&D. No cards in hand. After running right smack dab into a Cortex lock. And it's just like you're saying. This is why it's scary to face check into Jinteki when you don't have anything out. Because so much of their ice is so spiky, and especially running R&D or HQ, you could just slam right into a snare or a shock.
Could be the subliminal messaging has just kind of thrown Conrad into, I need to make a successful run every single turn, and that ended up costing him more than the credit would have.
Yeah, and maybe that is his train of thought, but it seems kind of odd just in the sense that James. I'm imagining a lot of James's ice so far. Like the biggest or the highest cost so far was 3 creds. So you might think that he doesn't really have a lot of high cost ice. So unless you have something to deny him money, I don't really. It's kind of almost you just let him have the subliminal at that point.
Yeah.
I think it's more advantageous to build your board set up than deny just a single credit each turn, as much as that can add up over time.
At least until you get your stuff set up, and then that way you can actually make efficient runs on it and not have to worry about losing 5 cards to the Cortex lock.
Oh, yeah. That's just a nightmare. That's
all right. The Diesel, slamming a drink.
As an occasional Sunny player, I can say that I know when I'm facing Jinteki, I always dig for my Sentry Breaker before I start running, because that's always the nightmare you worry about with face checking Jinteki ice. And it should be noted that James did sneak out a clone retirement there, just a little 1-pointer. And now here we go. Here's classic Jinteki mind games, mooshing out a naked remote. So could be a trap, could be a 3-pointer. Who knows? And that's the with Harmony Medtech. A lot of the Harmony Medtechs ever since Global Food Initiative came out, it's a very common build where you just have the 6 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And it works great with Jinteki in that sense, because you moosh it out and you don't know if it's a trap or a 3-pointer. And
unless you're doing an exploratory romp on the Dinosaurus, you don't really have any options.
Yeah, and if you're going to try an exploratory romp without exploratory romp, you might just get your brain fried.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Definitely dangerous games we played. So it looks like Dinosaurus with I couldn't see with the glare what that card was.
I think he just sure gambled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, sure gambles for days. I think that's got to be his 3rd gamble there. Plays an SMC.
An SMC.
All right, so here we go. So now he's finally starting to stabilize here after that devastating Cortex lock hit.
And he's running R&D, and he's going to pop his self-modifying code and search for something to deal with the Cortex lock.
Presumably, yep. And so he gets dagger. So okay.
Oh, it is stealth build.
Yeah, so he does. That was a cloak that I saw earlier, and he's gonna be able to get through.
He's hosting an on Dinosaurus, which increases its strength by 3.
Right. So he will have just enough strength, and he doesn't need stealth creds with dagger to break through it.
Right.
Or actually, no, dagger is Dagger 1 strength?
It's a 1 strength breaker, and then it's a 1 stealth credit to boost its strength by 4, and 1 to break.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So actually, because Cortex Lock is 4 strength.
It's 4 strength,
So I don't know, because isn't that a daily cast at the bottom there? I don't think it's stealth credits. So I'm wondering where... Okay, so actually, let's hold the presses. Looks like we're taking it all back. It looks like they were discussing there. I think maybe Conrad realized that about Dagger. Yeah, because I was gonna say I don't think Dagger can actually break it without stealth. So
it's taking the run back.
Conrad had an epiphany, asked to take it back, and James generously agreed. And then they got the money sorted out. And so because he didn't make a run, James gets Subliminal back, plays that for a credit. And back channels.
Oh, wow.
All right, so interesting splash. So that signals to me that James probably has some traps in here.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes along the lines of what I was saying earlier about the Harmony Medtech, where you motion out and you don't know if it's a 3-pointer or a trap. So presumably that was a trap.
Mm-hmm. It could have been an agenda.
You know, I personally...
Actually, I have done that too. I have back-channeled fetal AIs that I had motioned earlier just to get the money.
You know, it's... Each their own.
Yes.
I mean, I guess if you're playing maybe something like PE.
Yeah.
But I think the thing is, if you're playing Harmony Medtech, usually it's rush. You want to get to that fixed as soon as possible. So he's got a point already. You would think if that was an agenda, especially if it was a 3-pointer, he would just, advance, get it out. So
I'm going to levy now.
He's already levying. Wow.
Right.
Okay. This is interesting. Seems a bit early, but he must... I'm guessing he might not be seeing what he's hoping for. And I don't know how many clone chips he may be running in there.
Right.
We haven't seen much in the way of influence yet in Conrad's deck. But he could just be thinking that he wants to get to a certain breaker or something really, really quickly. He did lose a cloak. He lost Maker's Eye.
Yeah.
He did lose definitely some good cards.
5 cards in his hand.
Yeah. So it looks like you got a dagger. Fresh. You got Dagger, R&D interface.
I saw a Gordian Blade, actually.
Yep. Which is interesting. If
you're
running stealth, you would think you would go through Fractor.
Yeah, it's definitely one of these stronger shaper code gate breakers.
Yeah, and I mean, efficiency-wise, as long as you have the stealth credits, I believe it's actually numbers-wise, it's the best decoder in the game, as long as you have the credits.
And it's just a matter of how many stealth credits he's able to fit into this deck if he wants to make sure that they're available for his runs.
Yeah, so this is very...
We'll find out.
Yeah, very, very funky Chaos Theory build from Conrad here. A little mixing traditional and stealth rigs.
Yep.
And Easy Mark! Oh!
Easy Mark!
Shut the front door! What's going on?
3 credits.
And so, I don't even know anymore. Nope. I've given up guessing on this deck. Nope. This is a Conrad special right here. Yep. Oh, man, so... Okay, so money's up with the Easy Mark.
When you're breaking into Leviero University, you're bound to find a few students who don't have password protection on their pads.
That's I mean, I assumed, I always feel an eerie resemblance with the person on Easy Mark. Yes. And now, anytime I go, ever since the game came out, anytime I go touristing somewhere, I think,
you have another clone retirement.
Yep, so... jammed out another clone retirement, so it's now 2-2, ties it up.
Yep.
So they're both third of the way.
Yep.
Third of the way there, since Harmony Medtech lowers the requirement for winning agenda points, but still don't know that Ice on Archives is, and he still has not actually built a remote yet that's lasted. So interestingly, I wonder if if James's game plan is to just never builds a remote, just motions out agendas. That aren't clone retirement, and just tries to bluff them out.
Build cheap taxing central servers that are hard to run.
Yeah. Okay, so
we have a self-modifying code.
Yep. So now, he's still he's playing CT, so he still has the memory for all this. And then now, if I'm Conrad, I definitely and I have a dagger out. I definitely want to get some cloaks, get some stealth credits online.
Yeah.
Because you have the Maker's Eye, so if you can get some money, get some stealth credits, you have an RDI. So you could drop an RDI, Maker's Run, And at this point, I mean, you are playing against Shincheki, so there's always a possibility you're going to run into a snare, a shock, and even I also know James is fond of Shikyu.
Yep.
He does love throwing
and
Shikyu.
And there it is. Maker's Eye run.
Yep, so, okay. He's going to go for that, and then...
He's going to take the 1 net damage for his 1 free memory.
Okay, so instead of breaking the Cortex Lock, decides to just bite the bullet there, because now it's only 1 net damage. Pays through the pups, goes broke doing so. First card, nothing. Second card, a hedge fund. Third card... Oh,
it's
so...
not lighting anyone's world.
No. Oh, shock. Okay,
oh,
yeah,
dear.
so he is playing some spiky bits in here. So just 1 net damage, but he unfortunately can't trash it, so... Presumably that's going to end up in his hand, and then presumably into archives at some point.
Yeah.
So we may end up seeing that shock again. And that's always a bummer, because at least if you can trash shock, you know it's in archives. And if you're not playing a deck, I mean, this kind of CT deck generally is not going to make a lot of archive runs.
It just pings you for that 1 card, and often sometimes it's just that 1 card that you needed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We have the remotes.
Here we go. And a remote indeed, double icing that up. Just holding back on us here.
Yep.
Shovels his hand up a bit. Maybe he's thinking about installing, chatting something over. A lot of hand gesturing.
I don't believe he paid for that.
Nope. I
think
dice. I think we missed credit there, and which I mean he's got 17, so it might be a little immaterial at this point. But yeah, good catch there.
Oh, you're never out of the money game.
Yeah, and. You know, it's just you watch and play enough games of Netrunner, you realize that even at the highest levels, people make tiny mistakes like that because there's always so much to keep track of.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know, and that's why I think it's important. You know, I love the Netrunner community in that most people are very forgiving about little mistakes like that, and very good with even pointing out. I always try to make a habit of if my opponent's supposed to get a data sucker token or a Desperado credit or anything the like to point that out to them because I never want to
it's just good form.
Yeah, it's good form. It's the classy thing to do, and also I think it's just I never want to feel like I won a game because of some sort of slight like that or something missed, one little thing that could have tipped the scales, and it gets you in the habit too of keeping track of all your stuff as well. And just makes you more aware of the board state, I think. Okay, so Conrad sure gambles, gets more money, and then diesels up. Trying to find another answer. That is the 5th or 6th sure gamble.
Yep.
This gamble for days.
Yeah, this Chaos Theory is going into the casinos.
Yeah. I guess she looks older for age. I don't know how she's sneaking in, but yeah, she's winning some high stakes games. Okay, so it should be noted that James did install an advanced remote in that remote he made. And it's triple advancing and scoring medical breakthrough. Okay, so things are looking pretty dicey here for Conrad.
Yep.
He's going to need some more breakers out, which he should be able to do now. He has a casino's worth of money and 2 SMCs. So you would imagine he could be able to get into that remote.
Right.
So
he's got money. He has the ability to search for the breakers that he needs. He just needs to be basically very cautious because if you hit another medical breakthrough, you leave the opportunity for James to score out medical breakthrough for 2 advancements.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. And so it's actually kind of scary because I'm going to guess with the Columbia Retirements medical breakthrough, obviously we can now assume that he is not playing 6 agendas.
Right.
He's playing GFI, so he is playing 3-pointers, but if he has more medical breakthroughs, which you typically do play 3 when you do play it, he can easily just jam out that last one if Conrad ends up snatching one out of a central. So, or even if James could even try to install it in the remote.
Oh, God forbid, yeah.
And then he steals it out of the remote, but then that leaves the 3rd one open that he could just fast advance it.
And we have the access in R&D, and it comes out blank.
Yep. Which he has the RDI in hand, so I'm kind of intrigued because he has the money to play it, and he has the money to get
it was click intensive.
Yeah, that might
be. He didn't have the extra click.
Okay, but he does have the cloak out, so now he can start getting through sentries relatively easily with that dagger. Still has 2 SMC out, which I'm surprised he didn't SMC 4 cloak.
Yeah.
All right, so James throwing the gauntlet down, getting money. So he pretty much whatever ice is in front of that new card in the remote, he's going to be able to res it. and basically just saying, "Come at me, bro."
Yep. And then went over R&D just to close the door.
Mm-hmm. And interestingly, Conrad has not, after that initial HQ run, he has not run HQ since.
No, not since the quicksand is doing enough work, just deterring runs on HQ that it's keeping James' hand really safe right now.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because you would think at some point he might want to poke in there because it's so vulnerable. But Conrad's really been sticking to the R&D classic shaper, deep digging. I mean, it's interesting because usually, if you're just getting single accesses on HQ against Jinteki, you're not necessarily, you can hit a snare and get a shock, but if you deep dig an R&D against Jinteki and they have traps, you could easily double up into traps and you're donezo like that. But I decided not to go that route and is running the remote because at this point you kind of gotta, with James being at 4 out of 6 points.
It's another quicksand.
Mm-hmm. All right,
and we're finally going to see a barrier breaker.
So let's see what Conrad's got up his sleeve. Now he could get out the Atman.
Mm-hmm.
That is another possibility. Although against quicksand, not great, obviously, because without a data sucker or something else to reduce the strength, whatever you put it at, quicksand will just keep gaining strength.
It's going to go out of hand, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so he's going to try some system. And is that a battering ram?
2, 3, 4, 5. That would be battering ram.
Oh my! Just
all right.
Just when you think it couldn't get any crazier.
And he uses his cloak stealth credit.
Yeah, which is interesting because
that's one credit to break to 2 separate
okay, Lotus Field, boom. All right, so I think that's going to stop it because
credits.
and just like disparagingly staring at his guardian blade in hand, which he wasn't able to play. So he draws up. Now
this is why we don't gamble, kids.
Yeah. Okay. So he draws up and plays an Armitage, which is good because he's going to need that burst economy really quickly if he's going to drop a Gordian and try to run back into that remote sometime soon.
It might be too late, though. If that is just a standalone medical breakthrough, we might have our medical breakthrough for the game.
We might find the cure, finally.
The cure for clones.
So we'll see if Conrad just put all those credits on Armitage in vain.
Oh.
And... Yep, that'll do her. All right, second medical breakthrough, gets the 6 points for the win. And just like that, it looks like James pulled out game 1. All right. So, very funky build on Conrad's side. Very fun to watch. But we've got game 2 coming right up. So, on behalf of Stampede City Grid, thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you very much for watching. And I'm Keith.
I'm Justin.
And always be running.
All right, see you soon.